Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to automate test cases using Playwright with the page object model using a simple login flow example. First, let me explain what is a page object model is. It is a design pattern used in test automation where each web page is represented as a separate class and all its elements and actions are defined within the class. You will understand this concept more clearly as we go through the automation. Now let's get started with automating the test case. So right now I'm on this website called Orange HRM. I'll drop the link in the description if you want to try it out. Okay, so first before jumping into automation, let's quickly understand how this works manually. As you can see on the screen, we have the username field here, a password here, and the login button. Now let's enter the credentials. I'm typing the username as admin and the password as admin123. And now I'll click on the login button. Alright. So once I click on the login, you can see that it navigates to the dashboard page. So this is the actual flow, right? Pretty straightforward. Now, if you think about automation, we are going to do this exact steps. First, we need to identify the username field, then enter username, and then the password field, enter the password, and finally click on the login button. One important thing here, after clicking login, we should verify whether it's actually loaded on the dashboard page or not. Before clicking is not enough. In automation, we need to verify the validation. So now let's start creating our page object. So what I have done is inside my project, I have created a pages folder, and inside that I have created a file called login.ts because I'm using TypeScript here. Now let's open this file and start writing our code. First, I'm going to import the required things from Playwright. So I am typing import page comma locator from Playwright tests. Let me explain what are these. So page is a basically like a browser tab. Whatever you see in the browser that is controlled using this page object. I'll explain page, browser, and context in Playwright as a separate video. And locator is used to identify elements on the page like username field, password field, buttons, everything. We identify them using locator. Now, next step, we need to create a class. So I'll write export class login. Why we are exporting here? Because we are going to use this class in our test file. So to make it accessible outside this file, we need to export it. Now inside this class, first I'll define all my variables. And all these variables are the locators or tabs we are using to test our application. One best practice here is I'll make everything read only because once we define our locator, we don't want them to change anywhere else. So first I'll create a variable for the page that is and marking it as read only, and the type of it is page. This represents the browser tab. Next, let's define our elements. So first, username text box. I'm making this as read only, but the type of it is a locator because we are locating this element on the UI. So this type is this the type of this one is locator. Similarly, one more for the password field. Again, there's also a locator. Next, login button. And finally, after login, we need some validation, right? So I'll capture the dashboard text. So for the dashboard text also, it's a locator. Yeah, that's it. We have defined all the elements. Now let's move to the next step, initializing all these variables using a constructor. So I'll write a constructor and I'll pass page as a parameter. Now inside this constructor, first thing I'll initialize the page. So this dot page equals page. So whatever we are passing in the page from the test, it will be assigned here. Now let's start initializing our locators. So first username text box. I write this as this dot username equals to page dot locator. Locator is a built-in method in Playwright which is used to identify elements on the page, and inside this we need to pass the selector of that particular username text box. Now if you don't know selectors, first go through the selectors and then, so if you don't know the selectors, go to the first learn them and then come back to this. Selectors are very important for automation. And yeah, now if you, yeah, but for now let me quickly show you how I'm picking this. So I'll go to the application, right click on the username field, click inspect. Now in the elements tab you can see the HTML. From here I'm choosing a stable attribute, in this case name equal to username. So this selector will be in open square brackets. Now I'll copy and paste it in the inside the locator. Done. Now similarly let's do it for the password field. Again inspect, find the stable attribute. Here also I can see name equal to password. So I'll just copy that and paste it here. One important thing, always make sure your selector is unique. If it matches multiple elements, your test will fail. Now let's handle the login button. So again, inspect the button. Here I'm using type equal to submit. I'll copy that selector and paste it inside our initializer. Now, finally, after login, we need validation. So let me log in quickly. Once we land on the dashboard, I'll inspect this dashboard text. For the dashboard, instead of just using a locator, I'm going to use get by text because here I specifically want to verify the text dashboard. So I'll write this dot dashboard equals to get by text dashboard. This will directly targets the visible text on the page. Now let's start writing our methods. So first method is fill username. This is to fill our username. So I'm writing async fill username and I'm passing a parameter username. Now inside this I'll write await this dot username dot fill username. So here fill is a built-in method in Playwright. It directly enters the text into the field. Now you might have been wondering why we are using async and await. So works asynchronously. If you don't use await, what happens is it won't wait for the step to complete. It will immediately jumps to the next step. So imagine it start typing the username, before finishing it moves to the password, then click sign in. This breaks your test. So await ensures the test completely fully, then only starts the next step. Now, optionally, we can add a validation here. So I can write expect this dot username to have the username uh, to have value. For this, make sure you import the expect from the playwright. But honestly, this is an optional. Playwright already handle most of these checks internally, so you don't need always this. Now similarly write for password, async fill password. Fill password is a method you can write whatever you want, and in the parameters also there are just names of the parameters. You can write whatever parameters you are you need, parameter names you need, and these are all these parameters. While when you're calling the methods, you will pass the actual variables like your actual username and password to these methods. Next method is clicking on the login. But this I made it as a async click login. Now inside this we are using a method called dot click. So it how it works is, it this dot login button will get the locator from the constructor, and it locates the element in the web page and then clicks on that element. It is similar for the password filling and username filling as well. Now finally let's add validation for successful login. So for this we are adding one more method called verify dashboard. As in our locator we are anyway pulling all the text, so I'm just verifying that the text is visible. So I'll create the in the next part I'll create the actual test file, and we can run those tests, we can run the test cases. Stay tuned.